Hello everybody and welcome to a new Journal with Me video. I wanted to do a journal spread based off of the new Taylor Swift album Folklore, and I thought I would film it and share it with you guys. I also will be popping in throughout this video to kind of talk about my thoughts and feelings on the album, my favorite songs, and everything like that, so stay tuned and you'll be able to hear all of my feelings on it. So Taylor Swift announced the Folklore album and gave us like less than 24 hours to prepare, and I was very overwhelmed but also so excited because I love Taylor Swift so much. She has been such a big part of my life. I started listening to her music and getting kind of obsessed with her when I was like 11 years old, and I'm now almost 22. So she's been in my life for a really long time. So any new music from her is always just so exciting. I ended up staying up until midnight for the release of the album, as well as the Cardigan music video. There was a premiere for that music video at midnight, so I stayed up and watched that and listened to the album for the first time, and it just felt like Christmas morning. It was just so exciting, and this album is just so beautiful. I am always so impressed with Taylor Swift after every single album that she releases, but again, she switched genres and she went from doing country to then switching to pop, and now she kind of switched again to alternative indie sort of thing, and I think it's so impressive that she's able to switch genres again and create such a magical and beautiful album. The lyrics, the storytelling, everything within this album is just so beautiful and magical, and the fact that she created it in the span of 3 months is mind-blowing to me. I also love the fact that there's so many different stories within this album, things that don't just relate to her and her experiences, but things that she's either made up or just heard about. For example, the songs Cardigan, August, and Betty are all telling 3 different points of view of a love triangle, and obviously that is just something that Taylor Swift created on her own, and I think they're so magical, and it's so cool to see the storyline kind of continue throughout those 3 songs. And also the song The Last Great American Dynasty is based off of the past owner of Taylor Swift's Rhode Island house, and I'm like, how did she think to create a song based off of that? It's just so magical, so smart. Her storytelling is amazing as always, but I just think that there's something totally magical about this album. Along with the incredible storytelling, I think there's a lot of references to Taylor Swift's life as well, or a lot of the songs can kind of mirror things that Taylor Swift has gone through herself, but I think Invisible String is definitely based off of Taylor. I definitely think Invisible String is based off of Taylor's relationship with her current boyfriend Joe, and it just makes me so happy. She also does a callback to the color gold, which is really interesting because in the foreword for the Red album, she says that she believes true love will be the color of gold. And since meeting Joe and writing songs about him, she has referenced the color gold a few times, and there is a line that a gold string tied me to you. And I just love that. It makes me love Invisible String so much more. My favorite songs on the album kind of change every day. I kind of have the top like 3 or 4 songs that tend to stay the same, but that top 5 spot just changes all the time. So as of right now, I would say my favorites are Betty, August, Invisible String, Seven, and then that 5th spot tends to change. It's either Mirrorball, Illicit Affairs, or My Tears Ricochet, or even Epiphany. Like, I just love every single song. Every single song is so good that it's kind of impossible for me to figure out my top 5. Once the album isn't so new and I've had a lot of time with each of these songs, I feel like my order of my favorites will become a lot easier to tell, but right now it's just so new and so exciting, and every single song is so beautiful that I have no idea what my top 5 is, but those first 4 that I listed are definitely my favorites. So I definitely think that there is a good chance that this will become my favorite Taylor Swift album. I've already been saying it's my new favorite, but I just love all of her albums so much, but there's something so magical about this one. Anytime I try to say what my favorite Taylor Swift album is, though, I get very overwhelmed. Basically, I've been saying Red is my favorite album since Red came out, and then 1989, Reputation, and Lover kind of followed that album, and I loved all 3 of them so much that I just kept saying Red because I didn't want to try and think about what my favorite is. I would just get so overwhelmed. But I honestly feel like Folklore might be the new Red album. I feel like I get a lot of the same feelings listening to Folklore that I do when I listen to Red. I also feel like it gives a lot of the same like fall and autumn vibes and feelings to it. But I also feel like Folklore is a good mixture between like original Taylor, Speak Now, and Red. And I'm just so in love with it. I feel like it's also like a mature version of those. I don't know. It's just so good. So it definitely could potentially become my new favorite Taylor Swift album, but I think I need to let it sink in a little bit. It's so new, and I think anytime any new album comes out, I say it's my favorite just because it's so new, but we'll see. I definitely think that it is a strong contender for my new favorite. So I just thought I should actually talk a little bit about the actual spread that I did for this album. So I printed out some pictures of Taylor Swift from the Folklore photo shoot. I found somebody who edited them in color, so I printed them in color, and I really like the way that that turned out. I originally was going to put the track list on the actual page, but it ended up not coming out right. The spacing was completely off, so I ripped a piece of paper and wrote the track list on that instead, and I think I like the way that it came out better than it would have if I just wrote it on the page. And then I wrote a little bit about the actual album, the excitement, the surprise announcement, and kind of my favorite tracks from the album. And then I also added some washi tape and some stickers that I thought kind of fit the vibe for the album. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this spread ended up turning out. So that is going to complete this journal with me. I hope that this was relaxing. I was trying to keep my voice nice and calm, just because I wanted to kind of give the feeling of the Folklore album. I would love to know what your favorite song off of Folklore is. I'd also love to know what you think of this spread, if you'd love to see more journaling videos like this, not just, my bullet journaling spreads and setups. I would love to do more journaling videos like this. But yeah, let me know what your favorite Folklore track is, what your favorite Taylor Swift album is, and yeah, that's it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.